Hello everyone, this is video 9 in the College Algebra series, and today I'll be talking about applications of linear equations. For today, in this video, I have 3 questions, 3 word problems, which we will be answering one after the other. And all of them use some form of linear equation where we are trying to get more answers from it, or just trying to understand what exactly is happening and how to use equations in real life. All right, so in question 1 here, we have the sugar sweet company is going to transport its sugar to market. It will cost $4,500 to rent trucks, and it will cost an additional $225 for each ton of sugar transported. Let C represent the total cost in dollars, and S represent the amount of sugar transported. Write an equation relating C and S, then use this equation to find the total cost to transport 14 tons. Okay, so quick things. Once when we have a word problem, it's a very good habit to just write down as you get new information, just so that you have a concise way of everything in terms of how you understand the question in front of your eyes, rather than having this big paragraph in front of your eyes, making it more confusing and making it harder to just analyze what exactly is being asked in the question. So now that I've read the question once, I'm going to try to write down the important information that I need from this entire question. So one thing is that there is a cost to rent trucks, and that is $4,500. And then it says that it will cost an additional $225 for each ton of sugar. So for 1 ton of sugar, it cost $225. So what this exactly means is, for each ton, that means that for 1 ton of sugar, it costs $225. It's basically like if you want 1 chocolate, it costs $1, but if you're buying 10 chocolates, it would be 10 times 1, which is $10. So it's something similar that's happening here, where we are given the amount that it will cost for 1 ton of sugar, and we have to find for a variable amount of sugar. For example, if we have n tons or m tons, how much is it going to cost you? It's going to cost you n times 225 or m times 225. So that is what for each means. For each means for every single one. So for 1 ton, it's costing you $225. Okay, and then the next part of the question, we are told that C represents the total cost. So the total cost is represented using the letter C, and S represents the total amount of sugar in tons. So we want to write an equation that relates C and S. That is, we want to write an equation that relates total amount of money that we need to spend for this transaction, and how much, depending on how many tons of sugar is being transported. Okay, so now that we know C is total cost, and that's what we are trying to understand, let us first begin with C equals to, we know that there is a one-time cost, which is 4,500. That is to rent the trucks, right? So that would mean that we have 4,500 initially. And on top of that, $225 for each ton of sugar. And here we are told that S is the total amount of sugar in tons. So we have S times 225, which is the amount for each ton of sugar. So here we have S tons of sugar, so we have 225 times S, and we're adding it with 4,500, which is the amount that it will cost to rent the trucks. So this will be our equation. It's a very simple process. You read the question, write down what's given, and then try to understand what is being asked. And as you write down, things will get much clearer in front of your eyes, making sure that you're going in the right direction. And then the last part of the question here is asking us to use the equation to find the total cost to transport 14 tons. So we are given S is 14 now, and we are asked to find what is C given S is 14. So that would mean C equals 4500 plus 14 times 225. Let me pull up my calculator here and solve it. So this is 4500 plus 14 times 225. That is $76,050. Sorry, $7,650. So that is the total cost if you're transporting 14 tons of sugar. So that is it for this question. Now we'll move on to the next question. Melissa is a software saleswoman. Her monthly salary is $2,100 plus an additional of $120 for each copy of History is Fun she sells. So let us write down immediately what we have. So her monthly salary is $2,100. And then for additional copy of the book that she sells, for each additional copy, so each copy costs $120. So it says let S represent her total salary. So here S is total salary in dollars, and let N represents the number of copies of History is Fun she sells. N is number of copies. Write an equation relating S to N and then graph your equation. So again, we are first given a fixed amount, which is the monthly salary, which is never going to change. And then we have additional money that she earns for each copy that she sells, which is $120. And then we are given the both variable names, S and N, for total salary and the number of copies that she sells. So we want to know what is the total salary and how it relates with the amount of copies that she sells. So that's going to be salary, the total salary S, equals the fixed salary that she first gets, that's $2,100, plus how many number of copies she sells, which is N, and how much does she earn for each copy, that is $120. So again, let me break down what this equation is having here. S is the total salary, which is a combination of the base salary that she gets, and additional to that, the amount that she earns from selling extra stuff. So she's selling N copies here, and each copy that she sells, she gets $120. So this is the amount that she's earning from selling. So you have base salary plus the amount that she's earning from selling the History is Fun, and then you're adding both of them because we want the total salary that she has end of the month. Okay, let us now try to graph this. So it's going to be a straight line, and it only will be in the first quadrant where the money is positive and the number of items she sells is positive. So we would need only a graph which has just the first quadrant instead of all the four quadrants. You could have all the four quadrants, but you wouldn't have anything graphed on those quadrants. So we know that when she sells nothing, so when she sells 0 copies, then her salary would just be $2,100. So let me make this 500. This can be 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, and 2,500. So we want, well, it said that it's 2,100 is her base salary when she doesn't sell anything. So that would be somewhere here. And then for each copy she sells, she's going to earn $120 more. So if she sells 1 copy, that would be 2,220. So that would be somewhere here. And then slowly, as she sells more and more, her salary increases in a linear fashion this way. And that will be the graph for the equation. So the more number of copies she sells, the more money she makes. And the amount of change in money she makes for each copy is $120. So if she sells 5 copies the previous month and 6 copies this month, that means her total sale, the difference between what she got before and now would be $120 in addition. So she would get $120 more this month because she sold 1 extra copy compared to the last month. Okay, we have one last question here. So here we have, let Y represent the total cost of publishing a book in dollars. So Y is the total cost. So let us write down. Oh, we already have the equation here. So let me complete reading the question. And we have, let X represent the number of copies of the books that are being printed. Suppose that X and Y are related by this equation. What is the change in the total cost for each book printed? So we are told that we have this equation, Y equals 25X plus 1,150, where Y is the total cost and X is the number of books printed, number of copies of books printed. Now we want to know what is the change in the total cost for each book printed. What it essentially is asking is, for example, you first print 10 books and then you print 11 books. What is the difference in the cost between this? Printing 10 books and printing 11 books. So we want to know what is the change in Y, where that is the total cost for each book printed. So one easy way is just plugging in 0. That is when you have no books printed. Your cost would just be 1,150 because you're plugging in 0 as your X. And now when we plug in 1 as our X, that is if we print 1 book, right? If we print 1 book, Y would be 25 plus 1,150, which is $1,175. And now we want to know the change. That would be 1,175 minus 1,150, which is $25. So that is the change. So this is a way where you can plug in numbers and solve this problem. There is also another way where you can say Y equals 25X So you know this. You want to know the difference between this and maybe Y1, which is 25X plus 1. Because this is for X copies and this is for X plus 1 copies. And now you want to know what is the difference between Y1 and Y. So that would be 25 times X plus 1 plus 1,150 minus 25X plus 1,150. That would be 25X plus 25 plus 1,150 minus 25X minus 1,150. So here 1,150 gets cancelled, 25X gets cancelled, and you're left with $25. So if you see, you end up with the same answer here. So there's two ways of solving. One is like by brute force method where you are plugging in values and checking. And the other way is plugging in variables instead of having a hard-coded value here. So both both the methods that we are using here are both valid, but it depends on if you're giving an exam and it specifically says that you want it in one method, you can choose whatever method is being asked. But one thing is, it's always better to do something like this, unless you're given like really small numbers and you can do good calculations and manipulations using the brute force method. Okay, let us go to the second part of this question. Is what is the cost to get started before any books are being printed? So this is, we did partly answer this question here in the first part, but let us do it again. So what it essentially is asking is when x is 0, right? So when no books are being printed, no books are being printed. So that would be y equals 25x plus 1150, and if no books are being printed, x would be 0, so it's 25 times 0 plus 1150, which will just give us $1,150. So that is the cost to get started before any books are being printed. So that is the end of this video where I discussed 3 word problems, and in the next video I'll be discussing 2 more word problems, and then we will move on with some other topics in college algebra. Thank you for watching.